This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. A little bit later of an edition than I might have been hoping for today, but sometimes you gotta relax, wind down at work, and then go do your errands around town, and then get out to the old home base and have supper, and then wait for the internet to get going. Down the line, there you go. Anyway, you know what? Today's been a huge day in Oilers land, right? Obviously, the first practice day since that Battle of Alberta on Saturday that left a lot of question marks out there for the Oilers. Obviously, today we saw Slater Cuckoo be placed on the LTIR. Rumor, as far as I understand it, is he'll be done for the season, available hopefully for playoffs. And then you've got, well, Bear, what's going on there? You've got Turris even. You've got Neal missing from practice. Draisaitl was missing from practice. Don't forget that Lagesson's banged up. Oh, yeah, what about Yamamoto? My goodness. And what's happening with that Caleb Jones guy? So there's a lot going on here with this Oilers team. So let's get through the injury updates as they are, because these are huge updates as to what we will see the next two games, hopefully, in Vancouver. So one thing I need you to do is make sure to take the next 10 minutes, consider hitting that subscribe button, sticking around for those Vancouver games. Whether you like it or hate it, you know what? I'm a good watch either way. Great time. Anyway, that's my ad for myself. Let's get to it. We'll start with Bear. Simply the fact that he had a couple good days back to back. Looks like he may actually finally be available for tomorrow. That according to Dave Tippett. It was kind of left very nicely open-ended. Not kind of, not sure, probably not. But yeah, there's the chance. No, there's pretty good chance by the sounds of it that Ethan Bear is going to be the guy that steps in and fills the hole of Slater Cuckoo. Now, there was a follow-up kind of line of questions here. This one with the interview with Dave Tippett, press conference, media conference, whatever you call it. It was pretty much all focused on the defense, right? Whether it be Nurse Barry pairing, a couple of questions there, the health of all the defensemen. It was very much so focused on the defense. And there's a lot of questions back there, right? There is a lot of questions, whether it be the great play, the outstanding play, whether it be how is this defense getting it done, how is this defense still together even though it's all injured, or question you can possibly fathom about the Oilers defense at this point. But the nice part is it all comes together nicely. So you have Bear potentially available for tomorrow, sounding better than it has over the past several days. What does that mean? Well, Caleb Jones, we talked about him yesterday. He'd be the natural guy to slot in with Evan Bouchard. And I mean, a pair that's probably played a couple games together at the AHL level. If I went back through the score sheets and stuff, yeah, okay, yep, makes sense. Good to go. But then all of a sudden, we've talked about it in a video prior at practice about last week there before I took the week off, is the fact that, yeah, Bear and Bouchard practiced together and played some time on sim situations together as a pair. Bear and Bouchard. Who knew? That's actually one of my most popular videos while I was on that 4-day hiatus. I tell you, you want to look at the Dolynny TV analytics. That's where I'm porting you for that 4-day break. That and the Ryan Getzlaff idea we talked about because it needed to be talked about. But you look at that, okay? So Bear Bouchard is probably, according to Dave Tippett, the way he made it sound in that scrum, is the fact that Bear Bouchard is more likely than Jones and anyone in the Oilers lineup come tomorrow against the Vancouver Canucks. Now, obviously, right, there's a lot of factors into that. Bear, if he's not healthy, well, it's going to be Jones almost certainly, because that gets us to another point about the defense. Another injury update today, that Lagesson will not be ready to go for tomorrow. He's really obviously shut down more or less right now, as they're just trying to figure out how to get him back into game speed, how to get him back into even practice action at this point before they fire him up and get it going. So that's where we find ourselves right now, is right, yeah, Bear's a possibility, Jones is a possibility, Lagesson no. And then, right, okay, fine and dandy. That's the defense question. More or less in a nutshell, it's Lagesson is not going. Bear could be going. Jones is sitting in no man's land, somewhere on the roster, but not on the taxi squad, but not in the lineup. Press box, actually. And then you've got who else? Theodore Lundstrom, who's now entering quarantine, I'm sure, depending on however those rules work. I don't even want to even begin there because I'm more confused than I ever have been because every day is more confusing. But, okay, that's the defense. And Slater Koekkoek's on LTIR, so the Oilers now have $850,000 in extra cap space. Oh, by the way, oh my goodness, yeah, LTIR. Oh man, the Oilers' favorite friend this season. LTIR, you gotta love it. Whoop. Yes, sirree. So the Oilers now have like $4 million of LTIR space remaining. So we could go out and acquire somebody, no problem. You want to acquire Sam Bennett for a draft pick? You can do it right now with the LTIR space, and you've probably got, well, Clefbaum and Slater Koekkoek out until salary cap no longer matters. So just saying. I've talked about it before. Let's throw it out there again because somebody threw it out there in the comments the other night. So that's that, right? That's okay. That's the defense. You want to talk forwards now? I think we could talk forwards now, and I mean forwards are just as complicated because you have, we'll start with the absentees from practice according to Ryan Rishaug and a couple others today. James Neal and Leon Draisaitl, they got extra days off. If you heard they weren't at practice via any of those sources I mentioned, they had days off, thankfully. Good, gold, great. And I mean, I'm sitting here probably recapping it for the crew that got off at about 6:30 this evening, afternoon, whatever you want to consider 6:30 in the evening. But if you missed all that, that's who I'm recapping this for. Most of you probably already know what's going on. I've seen actually several of you in the comments section of the Oilers videos today, so I'm not breaking news here to say, but I'm updating some folks that might not know. That's where I'm kind of feeling crazy doing it because it's, I mean, going to be 8 o'clock when I upload the huge injury updates, and here it is. What? This was available at noon? Yeah, so tough, right? As I'm trying to be a leading edge of Oilers news sources and stuff, and here I am late to the punch very much. So, yeah, oh well, I was out on top of the Slater Koekkoek stuff. If I wouldn't have had to spend 10 minutes actually getting ready in the morning, I would have probably had that out before anybody else. That's okay. So that's the updates on the guys absent from practice. Oh, Slater Koekkoek, by the way, is on LTIR. But yeah, okay, we've got that. We're gold. We're good there. Now, Kailer Yamamoto and Kyle Turris. Kyle Turris is injured, according to Dave Tippett. This is not a Kyle Turris is scratched because of poor play, as many of us would have thought it is. However, right, I mean, Friday, Saturday worked out pretty good without Kyle Turris. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. So, we'll take it. We'll take what we can get in the meantime, and that's essentially, as a fan of any NHL team this year, that's watching the NHL play in whatever the heck's going on outside the NHL arena that night, guess what? We'll take what we can get. I mean, even when we were 3-6-0, I was just still glad to have hockey. If it would have gotten to 3-8-0, you know, but we're glad. We're just glad we got hockey, and we'll take what we get. Most of us. Now, right, there's some things to yell about and there's some things to be upset about, but the fact that we got hockey and winter's coming to an end and the Oilers are playing some lovable hockey right now, we'll take what we can get no matter who's in the lineup, no matter who's doing what, no matter how the puck's going in, and no matter how the puck's staying out of the net, we'll take it. So that's Kyle Turris being injured and unfortunately not being a healthy scratch maybe for a lot of people. And then secondary to that is you've got, of course, Kailer Yamamoto. Saved the absolute best for last. Look at that. It's almost like I went to broadcasting school. A lot of you get this confused. All right, I'm going to tell you this, is everybody gets this confused that I'm a journalist. I do not have a journalism degree. I have a broadcasting diploma. Okay? So that means I know how to talk on camera. That's how I would boil it down. I know how to write a script to talk on camera. And I can talk on camera. I do not know how to make a good news story. I mean, I probably should have learned that at school. Trust me, I did not. So, you know what? There we go, right? I'm at least applying one good principle of good broadcasting, and that is saving the best for last, right? That 4 o'clock radio show, they're going to save the best thing till 6 o'clock when they're off the air. Dolynny TV is going to save the Kailer Yamamoto stuff for 10 minutes into the video when I told you you should subscribe, at the start of the video. So here we go. Let's get to Kyler Yamamoto. No more messing around. He's okay. He should be good to go for tomorrow. There were no ill effects. Tippett didn't speak to him after practice today. Did not. So something could still arise before game time tomorrow. But he was held out, precautionary reasons. The lead was already good. Didn't need to risk anything getting aggravated or anything getting worse if there was something there. So hopefully, after 2 hard hits, yes, we've lost Slater Cuckoo, but thankfully he should be back for playoffs and we have somebody to fill those holes. And of course, Kyler Yamamoto is sounding good to go. There's your huge injury updates. Look at that. 8 o'clock. Done and dusted. I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. You ladies and gentlemen, you have yourself a great evening. I'm going to catch you tomorrow. We're going to go for it. We'll have the intermission updates. No game review tomorrow night because I do believe it's an 8 o'clock game. My apologies, but man, let me tell you, if I learned something last week is the fact of taking that time off and not posting on YouTube sure makes for a really good work week. Like that was probably one of the best weeks of work I've had this year so far. I'm Tyson, Dolynny TV, up on, out of here.